Hello, it's Vidas again, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between the Chorton and the Kammerton. This is a concept of the tuning system, not the temperament system, but the tuning system, the pitch level of the keyboard instrument that had in the Baroque period. And it's important for you to understand the difference because many historical organs or harpsichords too, or other keyboard instruments like clavichords, they have different pitch levels. Their A is not the same as A on the piano, for example. Piano is 440 hertz, right? 440, and the difference was in earlier times quite substantial, because what we know. From what we know, Chorton was almost half a step higher, 465 hertz. All right, it's therefore it sounds like if you press the note A, it sounds like A sharp on the piano or B flat on the piano. So that's why a lot of historical organs have tuning which is higher. Tuning system which sounds higher. And then there is the Kammerton. I was talking about the Chorton, which is higher, but Kammerton is lower, half step lower than the 440. So that would be 415, also half step lower. So the difference between the piano sound and the Kammerton would be also you play the note A and it's on that organ it sounds A, but on the piano it would sound like G sharp or A flat, right? A half step lower. So I've played quite a few of these instruments myself, listened to many of them also, and I can tell you that to play them, it's much easier than to listen to them. If you have a perfect pitch and you always hear the notes as they would sound in 440 tuning system, then if you hear a concert which is 465 or 415 in Chorton or Kammerton, it's very tricky to listen. It's quite a challenge for people who normally hear pitches, who can differentiate between C and C sharp when listening easily. So when I listen to these organs and the pieces, for example, in C major, I know that it's in C major prelude and fugue, for example, right? Very common key. But for example, on that organ, for example, in Sweden, Gothenburg, the city of Gothenburg has the famous North German style organ in Örgryte New Church. You can look it up. It has 4 manuals and it is tuned in mean tone, quarter comma mean tone temperament. It has split keys, short octave, all these things which go to the Baroque, early Baroque organs. But it sounds half step higher. So this C major prelude suddenly sounds like D flat major prelude or fugue, or C sharp major. It's completely different sound, right? Or a number of clavichords I played also have this Kammerton, lower pitch, right? Or you also hear C major. You play C major, but it sounds like B major, half step lower. So for the listener who can differentiate the pitches, right, it's very difficult. But for the player, it's not so much difficult. At first it's strange. Oh, you're playing C major, but it sounds half step higher or lower. At first, maybe 30 seconds. But then suddenly you start to adjust your listening skills and your playing skills. You adjust, and after a while, this new temperament and new system, tuning system, sounds normal, Kammerton or Chorton. And even it's interesting that some organs have two tuning systems combined in one of them. In one instrument there are Kammerton stops and there are Chorton stops. So in one organ in Poland, I know there was at least one in Poland, in Breslau, I think. Kasparini, Adam Orazio Kasparini built an organ with a few stops on the Kammerton and a few stops on the tuned on the Chorton, right? And the difference, of course, is almost the whole step in modern terms. So the reason they call it a Kammerton and a Chorton is that normally vocal music was tuned to and performed to the Chorton, and the instrumental music generally was performed together with the Kammerton, right? So that's why it's named Kammerton and Chorton, chamber music and choir music. So I hope you will remember that, and you can look it up, these strange sounding instruments, half step higher or half step lower. Enormous colorful palette and very huge variety of color. Wonderful feeling to listen and to play them. Thanks.